Well, I'm all excited. I know I've got many, many, many reasons to be excited about the new year. I'm excited about the old year. I'm excited that Tesla made buying opportunities for many of our friends who have just been complaining and complaining that they didn't get in on the last time that we'll ever see the stock, above below 400. And we didn't quite make it below 400. I hope those guys didn't like wait. So
Don't don't tempt them.
don't tempt them. They're gonna wait till it gets to 393 or I don't know. What did you think about today's action overall? My goodness, the markets are all down again. Tesla way down, much more than the market. So what struck you about today's activity?
It means nothing. This is a nothing burger. We Tesla tends to trade about 100 million in volume per day. We're sitting at like 61, 67 million, something like that. We're a third light in volume. Like this is nothing. And on top of that, potential people trying to get out of the stock before the delivery production numbers, people trying to lock in gains for the end of the year, to just for their own bookkeeping. So this is nothing. I wouldn't read too much into this. Not to mean it's not going to continue to, find itself, find a new equilibrium price. It might be 385. It may be 350. Who knows?
Right.
But today, yesterday, this week,
Mm-hmm.
this is noise. It's nothing.
Well, I'm always making these projections and predictions, and of course, I said that it would be 410 on January 31st, roughly. I didn't say actually but roughly a couple of weeks after the earnings, we'd be at 410 rather. Did I say something else? 410. We'd be at 410, the old all-time high. I might still be right.
You might. I hope not.
We now have to go back up to get to that level since we're closed at what, 403 or something?
Yeah. What's more interesting is to see the air come out of crypto. I mean, again, I kind of feel like it's the same story for all of these, that
Right. Sure.
people are just de-risking right now to go into the new year, and we'll see what happens after, starting next week. We'll see what's real. I guess for test investors, we'll start to see that on Thursday. Thursday we get the numbers.
The numbers, yeah. So do you have a number?
Nope, I don't play that game anymore.
You don't play that game anymore. Okay.
I don't care. It's irrelevant. No, but nobody's ever consistently right.
Right.
Like it's, people just don't know anymore.
It's a very tiny range this time. I was thinking that I would probably, I would put my number in at 520 because you never bet against Elon and he's not going to just get it by 3 or 3,000 even maybe. So maybe 520 would be the right number if you're not betting against Elon. But anyway, yeah, it's very narrow range, 500 to 515. I mean, that's pretty much where it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the estimates are 505, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, Tesla's number, their consolidated number, whatever, I think is around 507, and the street's around the same thing. It's very tight, very tight.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they know, and they were so right a couple of quarters last year. They were just like right on the money.
Yeah, I think I have a sense that they're gonna beat whatever that's worth. I feel like normally, especially Q4 December quarter, normally you have more of what feels like urgency at the end of the quarter.
Yeah.
Like I know they've tried to get rid of the wave and all that stuff, sure, but despite that, they still normally have kind of this urgency, last push kind of thing. Call me crazy, but it seemed like there was none this year. It like I didn't get the sense. Like it just felt like there. It felt like another quarter.
Well, they didn't make a call for the troops to show up at the locations and work overtime or whatever, or for free, for us to even go out and help deliver cars, like they have in some other ones. But they did give a lot of good deals at the end of the quarter.
Yeah,
Yeah, a lot of good deals.
yeah. I feel like either they're gonna miss it and they're just like, okay, whatever, or I think they beat it pretty decently.
All right. Well, listen, you took on. I want to take a look at the broader thing right now. You took on Brad Gerstner. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, holy mackerel, man.
I didn't take him on. I just said his words right back at him.
Well, apparently you agreed with most of what he had to say. So,
Oh yeah.
so he was looking, I think if I remember the whole setup right, he was looking at the end of the year, seeing the market being down. He said, look, probably people are a little nervous, although the VIX is only at 17, so I'm not sure how nervous people are, but a little bit concerned about, you know, Trump's tariffs or about whether or not the business conditions will continue to be as or that they'll be a little too strong. You said 3.1%. And then, but you took exception to his statement that maybe they're worried about the continuation of the tax relief project thing that Trump put in on his first term, and the continuation of that would be inflationary, he thought. And your response was,
Yeah. Well, it can't be inflationary by given nature. It's a continuation of a tax cut that's already in place. So that's not going to create any new inflation if all we're doing is continue what we're doing. Like we're just maintaining status quo.
yeah,
Now, if you took it away, that would definitely be deflationary because now people would have to pay more in taxes, which means they would have less spending power, which means the economy would get less money from people. So, okay, that would be true, but it's not inflationary to continue doing what you're already doing because we already know what that looks like. It's what we have today. So, unless I'm missing something that's very obvious, I feel like this is very obvious,
yeah. Now
not
there was some
inflationary.
now there was some talk that when Trump redoes or reinstitutes that tax plan, what would be the right word? Anyway, brings it back up for continuing to go forward. He has talked about actually reducing the corporate tax rate, at least in that package. My guess is the only way he's going to get a further reduction in the corporate tax rate would be if he also gives something to the folks, something to the middle class. So Brad didn't say anything about that in his notes, but that could potentially be seen as inflationary if those things were added.
Still not inflationary.
Oh, okay.
Like it's not. If you give companies, if companies have less, if they have more capital,
Mhm.
more earnings that they get to keep, and they
Mhm.
pay less in taxes. It does a lot of things to stimulate the economy to help grow. Growth, like for some reason, we've gotten into this world where people think high jobs numbers, good growth, good GDP, that all that's inflationary. Like, no, wrong. Like, it can mean that during the inflationary period when we don't want to see this and we want to contract to slow inflation, but that's also how you spur a bull market, a robust economy. And so, the way I see it, if you get out of the way of a lot of these companies, and I'm not necessarily talking about these bigger companies, but smaller companies or third tier companies, right? Different manufacturers will be able to come here because guess what? It's more cost effective to open up a plant or to build in the States than not.
Mhm.
And the only reason we can the math works there is because well the tax rates have come down, so it can add more jobs, which creates more tax revenue for people, which gets paid by the employer and the individual. It helps spur cities because then people go and they work in these places and then they want to go grab lunch, or new people move to new cities and now the grocery store is there. Like it's a whole ripple effect. There's a whole, symbiotic relationship when a company comes in, and all that starts from it being enticing to come here and build. Or you're already here. Now I have less tax being taken away from me. What can we do with that money? Maybe we can give it back to shareholders. All right, that's good for the economy.
Mhm.
Maybe we can invest in R&D. That's good for the company and the economy. I mean, like, there's all kinds of things you can do. So
You can lower
I don't
prices.
see, you can lower prices. Yes, exactly. Deflationary. So there's all kinds of things that happen that a company has at its disposal when the government is levying a smaller unconstitutional tax against them.
All right. And a lot of people right now are wondering, they're sitting at the edge of their seat. Now, maybe you answered this somewhere else on X, but you basically put a teaser out there, and I didn't see the answer, which is if there is some kind of recessionary pressure right now, if we might be heading into a recession, you have the answer.
Yeah. So I'm hearing a lot about recession, recession, recession. And that tells me, that's signal for me, no recession, no recession, no recession. And I'm not one to look at the past to be you know, to look for future activity based on the past. Like, I'm not, I think that's nonsense. Could it be, could the past correlate to the future? Yes, of course it can. Can it teach us about things that have happened so we can understand like the potential outcomes? Sure. But every day is a new day, and every day has an infinite amount of variables that are input into the calculus of what's going to happen that you can't know. So with that, all that said, yeah, I tend to be a contrarian. So when everyone thinks we're going to have a recession, my opinion is you don't know anything. And if you think there's going to be a recession, that tells me there's not going to be a recession, because recessions tend to come when no one's expecting a recession, not when everyone's expecting a recession. And so it's just a clear indicator to me that we're good for right now.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I see the one factor. It's just one single factor, and that's the bond prices, which continue to be up there, over 4.5%, which is a little concerning. But quite frankly, I finally had somebody agree with me in print in the old media the other day, saying the home buyers are now considering 6%, 6+% to be the new normal, and they're just going to go ahead with business. They're just going to go ahead and buy the houses. I've been saying that for a while, and I think that's true for the overall economy. This is the new normal. If they go down, mazel tov. But if they don't go down, we'll just do business because they're not that high.
There, there's no need to cut rates. There's zero need to cut rates. In fact, they shouldn't. And the reason look, I bought a house during this whole fiasco. I would love to refinance.
Right?
Okay, so like, yeah, that'd be beneficial for me, but that wouldn't be smart in the bigger picture, because eventually we will have a rocky moment. Eventually we will have another black swan event, another COVID, another 9/11, another 2008, 2009. Something's going to happen eventually. And if you don't have rates that you can cut, then you have no more ammo. So being up here gives lots of ammo to the Fed to use to help spur and stimulate us when people are scared and fearful, don't want to spend, and want to constrain all their capital because they think it's the end of the world. Right. So it's actually really healthy to have that in our back pocket. It was very unhealthy for us to be at this low rates, because should God forbid something would have happened, we would have had no tools at our disposal. Like, that'd be it. So I think it's a good thing. I think it's also helping the Fed do their job by all these rates being kept higher. It's helping combat inflation. It is. So I don't know. I think it's good all around.
All right. So we would both agree there's not going to be a recession in 2025. We agreed that it's going to be a great year. We've got amazing. Oops.
Well, I'm not saying there's not going to be a recession in 2025. I'm saying today, with all the data we have today,
No.
there's zero reason to think there's going to be a recession.
All right.
Right? Because again, you could
There's
easily
always
have
be a black swan. Yes.
you could always have another black swan.
I
Boom.
always take those off the table.
Okay. Okay.
Of course, there can be a new war or whatever that we can't possibly predict. So, okay, so we're in basic agreement. So we got amazing leadership coming in like never, ever, ever before. with the combination of Trump and Musk. It's just mind-boggling to think about the potential for 2025. We've got an economy that's doing fine, and we've got some really, really cool stuff coming. You, though, are saying the AI side of things, it's kind of done. We're kind of over the LLMs. I think, am I misquoting you? Anyway, I think that's what you're saying. You're saying, it's overhyped. That's not really where the action is going to be. It's going to be an embodied AI like Tesla and like Tesla.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not saying that the AI hype is over. I'm saying the hype around the specific domain modality of LLMs was over its skis by a long shot, and essentially the tide went out and it got caught naked. LLMs are great. They are a necessity. They have taught us a lot about training compute, about inference, about what can and can't be done. The fact that scaling laws, we haven't hit the limits yet. So it's taught us a lot, and it's been a low-hanging fruit for us to quickly iterate when it comes to training and learn and test new things, because it's literally just, I'm simplifying this, but it's words in, words out. Is your modality, is text in, text out. And so it allows us to do all these different trainings and different, solving different problems that we'll get into the future with different modalities. So it's definitely it's not useless by any means. What's overhyped is the fact that LLMs are going to replace jobs, that LLMs are going to replace developers, that LLMs are going to be AGI. Like, none of that is true by any means. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, LLMs will be a great assistant, a great productivity enhancer, things like that. But right. It's not going to replace any human. Mm-hmm. At least, no, it's not going to replace any humans. Not LLMs on their own, at least. What I see the future as is what many call real world AI. So essentially, LLMs are such a small part of the human experience, right? It's literally like, it's hearing, right? Mm-hmm. It's hearing, it's speech, that's it. That's all it really is. And even then, it's not even hearing, really. It's just you're hearing text. It's words. That's all it is. Right. But it doesn't account for sight. It doesn't account for different terrain around us. It doesn't account for grabbing something and how a dumbbell and an egg and a sponge and a baby and right, all these things have different. There's just so much data there that LLMs they don't even get close to touching it, right? I mean, it's just the idea of lifting something. There's way more things and data you could get out there in the real world when it comes to just picking something up and down, and different ways of doing it, different pressures you need. Way more data in that than there are words out there. So my point is, I think the real profits when it comes to this won't be in a space where everybody can quickly create their own LLMs, because there's lots of data out there for free to train the LLMs on. The real money is going to be made in the places where it's really hard to get data, but you need the data. It actually replaces a human from the loop, and it's niche enough that everybody won't be able to do it, because again, it's hard to have the manufacturer, it's hard to collect data. So obviously you can tell I'm obviously talking about Tesla here is the best example, whether it's FSD, right? FSD, unlike ChatGPT, will actually replace a human. In fact, I believe the biggest job, if you will, in the world, I believe, is driving.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so it's replacing that, okay? ChatGPT is not replacing developer. It's not replacing my emails being written. It'll help me write a better email. Mm-hmm. It's not going to replace it. FSD will replace the driver, right? And there's so many moats around it. It's really hard to get the data. Even if you got the data, then you got to learn how to train it properly and all the little architectural, tweaks that Tesla's had to figure out along the way. And then once you figure that out, then, okay, well, you need to put it into a vehicle. All right. But you can't just put it into any vehicle. If Tesla's doing this already, you have to be competitive. So then there's the whole manufacturing side of it and the scalability of that and the vertical integration of that. And then at that point, it becomes, well, if you're second place and Tesla's accelerating, is there a point where they plateau to give you a chance to catch up? Or do they keep getting faster and faster and better and able to lower costs faster and faster that it's impossible to compete? I mean, that's the question. Yeah. And then that leads right into humanoids. And humanoids, I would say, is potentially a more of an even playing field for people because, well, Tesla doesn't have like a 5-year head start in collecting data, but they do have a manufacturing prowess that others won't have, and the vertical integration that goes with that. Even Brett Adcock, or whatever his name is, even he admitted that manufacturing is going to be probably their hardest thing. And Tesla doesn't need to partner with another company to test it out, right? They have their own equipment and manufacturing to be able to test this out. They have their own employees they can send it home to test with. So I think. And sorry, I'm long in the tooth here now, but then there's also the fact that everybody may be starting at the same place when it comes to gathering humanoid data, but Tesla came into it with it's kind of like when someone has a family member who is already wealthy and knows how to make money, knows how to invest, and they teach you as a kid, right? That doesn't mean you know exactly what to do, all the trades and everything. It doesn't mean it's gonna be like for like by any means, but you learn the core principles and the proper pathway to get wealthy. Mm-hmm. FSD is that for humanoids. Tesla has the roadmap of what led to success for FSD in that domain, and they can take all those learnings and apply it to humanoid. It won't be the same by any means. It's a whole different data set. Walking and touching and grabbing and pulling and all these things are a lot different than just pedal, steering wheel, brake, accelerator. But the point is, we have the roadmap from FSD that will allow them to have a faster head start, whereas everybody else is going to be the equivalent of starting off with poor parents that really don't know where to start. And you have to figure out how to get wealthy on your own. As well
as a chip that is so far advanced compared to everybody else, and which they designed themselves, and which they're now on the 800th iteration, or who knows, 10,000th iteration of that.
And
chip.
The power packs and the battery, right? Yeah, I mean,
just goes on.
Exactly.
And on. Yeah. Okay. So, what do people do on New Year's Eve? Well, on New Year's Eve, we're supposed to look back. And contemplate what went right, what went wrong last year. We're supposed to consider resolutions where we might want to do better in 2025 than we did in 24 and resolve to do this, that, or the other in 20. And we also might be, in our world, you're in my world, we might be making predictions because those predictions might turn into stock plays. Might turn into recommendations to others in terms of stock plays. So do you have any, recollections, resolutions, predictions, any of that kind of stuff? I'll just turn you loose.
Yeah. Well, why don't we go, let's do like a resolution, a prediction, and a goal. How about that?
That's good.
We'll each do one. Okay.
Oh, we will. Okay.
Well, yeah. Okay. I hope you got yours ready. So I'll say my resolution for 2025 is, I got two, I guess you could say. One of them has to do with the fact that, if you guys don't know, I'm finally back in my house. We still don't have a kitchen. They're coming to install the kitchen on Saturday, but we're back in the house. We got hit really bad with the hurricane. We took on like 3 inches of water in our house, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it really isn't a lot. But first of all, water coming in your house is bad at any point in time. but 3 inches was enough to damage our floors, our cabinets, our refrigerator, our dishwasher, our oven. I mean, it was enough to like do crazy damage. Drywall, insulation, doors, everything had to get replaced. It's been 3 months we've been out of our house, and we moved back in a couple days ago. This last, I call it 3-4 weeks, I've just been here almost every day trying to press them to finish, or at least get finished enough where we could move in. And it paid off, but you know, for every give, there's a take. There's no free lunch out there. And what I had to sacrifice was my time going to the gym.
Oh,
So I literally haven't had 2 days at the gym back to back in probably about 4 weeks. So my first resolution is to get back in shape. I'm in shape. All right. Like I am in shape. Like that's the benefit of being in shape, is that I could go 4 weeks and it's nothing. But for me, I don't feel as good as I do. I don't think I look as good as I normally do. So number one is to get back in peak performance.
All right. Okay.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go to number 2 and I'll throw it to you for resolutions.
All right,
okay. My second resolution is I'm pretty frugal, but I can also be cheap, right? There's a difference in those words.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big minimalist. I'll spend money on quality things, but I don't like to spend my money. And sometimes that frugality, that minimalism can creep into cheapness. And something that I think is like I'm a self-made person, right? Like I didn't have rich parents or anything like that. You know, I had a stepdad who taught me how to invest, so that's kind of different. Like take the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
That's literally my life. Right. And ironically, Robert Kiyosaki and we went to the same military academy. So that's just a coincidence. But that was essentially my life. But for the most part, you know, until I met my stepdad, I grew up from very humble means. My parents were immigrants here, you know, so that whole story. But I think I tend to still have what I call a poor mentality with some things, when then I think I'm being frugal, but my time at this point is, I don't want to sound wrong, but 1 hour of my time is very expensive. All right. Like 1 hour of my time is more than what I wouldn't want to say it on here, but it's worth a lot. But I'm also the person that says, you know what? I want to cut my own grass. I want to do the yard. I want to do this. And part of it is because I kind of like taking ownership of it. I like seeing the beauty and the progress of it. But that means things don't get done as fast as I would like. And so I think part of my resolution this year is to work more on valuing my time the way I should, because on paper it shows you, and not to be so frugal or cheap to not get someone to do yard work for us, to not pay someone to, I don't know, like these like little things, these things that I could pay to trade my time for and buy my time back. Right. Just those things. I really struggle with that. I believe so much in doing your own stuff, fixing your own things. But I think I'm at a point where I can't do everything as much as I want to. I'm stretched so much, and things are going to start sacrificing, and you know, we're going to be starting a new family soon, and I can't be doing all that. So I think that's my next resolution, is to get right on that before that next phase of life. Well, that's really, sorry that was long-winded, but I just want to explain where I'm coming from.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So, you know, I've started a whole bunch of businesses in my life, and several of them, in fact, did extremely well. And so, you know, for a bunch of those years, for 25 or so of those years, I was making that same amount of money as you are now per hour. I'm not going to say what the number is either, but let's just say that it was plenty. It was a lot. And I never had any problem spending it. None at all. I don't understand what you're talking about. I did because my dad taught me how to do every single thing in the house. I did have a really hard time hiring stuff done. but not the grass, not the car wash, and I mean all that kind of stuff. I was perfectly happy to get that done by somebody
See,
else.
that's what I struggle. Like
Yeah, yeah.
if we need a new outlet, I'll put it in. If we need a drywall repair, I'll do it. If the grass needs to cut, I'll do it. If there's something wrong with the car, I'll do it. You know,
Right.
it's look, my background is mechanical electrical engineering, so it's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I grew up working under the hood of cars. Like I'm a handy person. I know how to do it, so it pains me to pay someone to do stuff that I can just do.
I get it. I've changed engines the whole nine yards. I just don't like it. Unlike you, I don't like it. I said no. I said that's it. As soon as I graduated from college, I said no. I'm done. This. I'm never going to do this stuff again. Actually, law school. Anyway, but my goal for this year, because you see,
Resolution, not
you,
goal, resolution.
I'm sorry, resolution. My resolution for this year, it's kind of remotely like a goal and resolution combined. I'm tired of making chump change on my media. That doesn't mean I'm going to change. It doesn't mean I'm going to do something else. It just means I'm tired of making chump change, even though I don't need the money and it'll all go to my kids. I'm still, I need to break through to the $50 an hour level. So that's my resolution, one way or the other. I'm working so hard right now to become monetized on X because that'll be a help to getting me to the $50 an hour level, and I have to look at it. The only way I can do this and keep sane is to look at it as business income as opposed to hourly income. So it's my third year. So if I only make $50 an hour, it's not the same as if I went to work for somebody. I'm not even making as much as my young children are making. So I have to, maybe that's my resolution. I'll pass my 28-year-old son.
Oh, competition. I like it. Hey, nothing will help you get there like competition.
That's right. Okay, you're up.
All right, yeah. So I guess we could talk about goals.
Yeah.
So I don't talk a lot about my investments specifically. I mean, my channel is called Investing Against the Grain, and most people know that I'm pretty much all in on Tesla outside of real estate, and I've got lots of stock from the company I work for. So obviously, it's not just in Tesla I'm in, but something that I do a lot of is I trade a lot. Like if you think you know what a lot is, think more. I trade a lot and I do really well. I'm very profitable, very consistent. In fact, I make more trading than I do my day job.
Nice.
My goal for 2025 is to document my 2025 and eventually 2026 so that maybe when I'm 36, 37, I want to start my own fund.
Oh.
So I've kind of decided that this is the direction I want to go in.
Wow.
So for this year, my goal is to be very mechanical, methodical, document, leverage my a specific brokerage that will be kind of your I don't know, like your witness that your returns are real, so that you can start a fund. So things like that. And I want to, in a very safe way, potentially talk a little bit more about what I do publicly here on YouTube, because I think there's a lot of bad advice, but good intentions from a lot of people in the Tesla community. And yeah, I think I want to kind of help change the narrative from someone who's actually doing the things that people say that they shouldn't be doing. So without being too mischievous about what I do, or that's kind of my goal for 2025.
All right. Well, my goal for 2025, which would take so long to explain the details, I will just say that I do have a modest amount of debt when compared to the assets. It's not a lot, but in absolute terms, it is more than my wife and I are comfortable with. So in 2025, 5, I intend to wipe out the debt.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's always a good one.
Yeah. It's doable. It's a easily makeable.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will say on a more personal level, our goal this year is to build a family,
Oh yeah, yeah,
to get this house back in shape,
yeah.
and when the time is right, to eventually start to build. This probably won't be this year, but to eventually build the next house. So
Nice.
I would say those are other goals that are kind of always on the mind.
Cool, cool. It sounds like, whenever you're building a family, there's always that part where, the practice part. That's always the best part, for the man anyway.
Yeah, that part's not horrible.
All right. Okay. Predictions.
Predictions. Yeah, you go first this time.
Oh, I have so many predictions. I've been putting them out on X for days and days and days. I would say that I have my obvious prediction about Tesla hitting 700 plus plus. That's my big prediction. I think my other big prediction is that the Doge Commission and President Trump will be magnificently successful in the first 100 days. It will be extremely exciting, and there will still be millions of people yelling at them and saying they're horrible people. But there you go. Those are my two main predictions.
I don't have a lot of like stock predictions, but you know what I'll do? Instead of talking about my stock predictions, I'll just let everybody know what the expected range for 2025 is. So it looks like the expected range for 2025 is anywhere from $220 a share to $590 a share. So
220 to 590. So it could drop. You're thinking it could, under certain circumstances, without a black swan event, go as low as 220.
I'm just telling you that's the implied
I see the implied.
move.
Okay.
Yes. So, this could very easily change. It probably will change. I think, maybe it's best to start with what my main prediction for this year will be. My main prediction for this year will be that we get FSD unsupervised, and that we start to see signs that everything that we think the current timeline is with robotaxis shifts left a little bit.
Left.
Yes, meaning sooner.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, that's like a tech term. When you shift left, it's normally like when you're doing code inspection.
Okay.
So you want to do that inspection sooner than later in the development of the code. So you want to shift left as much as you can.
All right.
So shifting left just means the timeline gets moved left. And if you're looking at a calendar, right, shifting left would mean closer to today than tomorrow.
Robotaxi happens faster than we think it's going to.
Yeah, I think we're going to see that. I mean, I forget, Randy, we talk every week, and I probably asked you this like 3 times, but you have 13, right, on one of your vehicles?
I don't.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
I have 12.5.4. I guess next week I'll get 12.5.6.
So before jumping on here, I was on live with 𝐑𝐚𝐬𝐝𝐲 and Yashu, and I was telling them, you have to go test FSD 13. Go to a showroom, go find a friend, go experience it. It feels like insider information right now. I don't know how else to say it. It's really good. Like, it's driving it, and keep in mind, this is the mini model. This isn't the full 13 yet.
Right.
That's got, the expanded parameter count, et cetera. But we're in 2024. It seems just so clear that unsupervised FSD is going to be coming out any month now.
Well,
Like it's
even on mine, hardware 3, 12.5.4, I've driven something like 700 miles with my last 700 miles No interventions at all.
Randy, I'm telling you, that version is trash. It's
Compared.
garbage compared to 13. It's obsolete. It's not even close. It is. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's a flip phone to an iPhone. It's not even in the same ballpark. 13 has. I don't think that there's a human that can drive smoother than 13.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
nice. All right. So anyway, you think it comes faster? So you're looking at second quarter? Because I'm looking at third quarter.
but for what exactly?
I think we'll get unsupervised in the second quarter. I do believe there'll be a 2 week to a month, maybe even 6 weeks between unsupervised and Robotaxi. That's my opinion. Larry Goldberg thinks it all happens on one day, and I can see that. I can commiserate with his viewpoint that it might all happen on the same day. But one way or the other, I think we're looking at end of second, sometime in third quarter.
I don't think it all happens at the same time because you want to phase it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more likely that we all get unsupervised FSD before the road taxis roll out.
That's my main opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, because that way, Omar, Chuck, AI driver, they get it 1st.
Mm-hmm.
Then you open it up to the next tranche of people. Then you open it up to the next, right? You want to really slowly roll that out.
Mm-hmm.
But once you have people in all these different states using it, no issues, no crashes or anything. I think then it's time. Yeah, 'cause you'll still have probably interventions, but there'll be convenience interventions.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Oh, I don't want to park there. I want to park over here. Or actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to go there. I want to go this way. Or I want to take this road instead. Like you'll have like little things like that.
Right.
Whereas in a Robotaxi, like that would never be considered intervention because you don't care. Yeah, exactly. Like
you don't have permission.
Yeah, so I think you'll still have interventions in that sense, but they're not negative interventions.
Right.
And so, anyways, but yeah, so I think it has to start with us because starting with us, you'll get the real data set. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how.
But then again, they're using it already. They're doing it already with employees.
I know. Like, yeah.
So
I know.
I don't know. My prediction is not on how it rolls out. My prediction is just that I think it's going to happen sooner than people think.
Okay. All right. Okay. Any predictions on the economy, the kind of the overall general, economics, the stock market, et cetera, kind of the bigger macro?
I think so. If you look at Tesla, we have gone from 488 down to just under 403 right now in aftermarkets. If you look at, let's look at MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's gone from 548 down to 290. If we look at, let's pick some other random name. Let's look at Meta. Meta's gone from 637 down to 585. Costco, that's good. Bellwether, that's gone from 1,008 down to 916. Okay. Let's pick one other one. Let's see. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft has gone 456 to 421. Let's look at the SPY just in general. The SPY has gone from 607 down to 586. So in reading all these, I think we've seen a pretty decent pullback.
Yeah.
But I think we were talking about this last week. That I wanted. Yeah, like it's not too crazy. Like I think Tesla's down now like maybe like 15% from all-time highs. Extremely healthy as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the VIX is right at historic levels. 17. You can't ask for much more average as far as where VIX should be. VIX was way too low before.
Right.
To me, this tells me that where we are right now at these levels, this is probably neutral. I don't know if I'm right. I'm BSing you guys right now. Like, I don't know. My guess is as good as yours, but I know VIX is at, this is the historical average level for VIX.
Right.
I see all the pullbacks we had, which makes sense because the VIX was down to like 12.
Right.
So VIX goes up, market shrinks, right? Market compresses. We're back at the average. To me, it says that this is kind of where equilibrium is. And I think from here, it's just a matter of what the market does.
Mm-hmm.
Either the market goes up or down, but it's not, I don't think we're like in a free fall.
Well, so we get earnings all of January. So if the earnings support earnings and the guidance support it, then we could be off to the next round, right?
Yeah, and listen, don't forget, we had a really big run in the stock market when Trump took office.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday, like Davos, the phrase that wouldn't stop at Davos was animal spirits.
Right.
That's all they talked about.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of that. And frankly, we're in a place where we're, at least when it comes to like the administration, I think this might be one of the strongest administrations that we've ever seen with regards to talent surrounding Trump. You know, I mean, he had like Jared Kushner and Ivanka last time, and I mean, they're very brilliant and very smart, but geez, we're talking about Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Vivek, I mean, JD Vance over oh my God, what's his name?
Anybody?
No, who's the former vice? Mike Pence.
Okay.
JD Vance compared to Mike Pence. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
JD Vance could be president. You know, like he's that level.
Yeah.
So you've got, you know, Alex Karp. We got like just all these people. David Sachs. You know, Chamath. Like you got literally the brightest minds out there who have a proven record of being right a lot, who have proven success, who are a high degree of signal for knowing what the right moves are, not the theoretical right moves, the actual things that work. And then you have Trump himself, right? He's no fool either, right? He's done pretty good for himself. So I just feel like we're, you know, we might be in the beginning of what could be the Roaring 20s.
Yeah. Well, and then you add in, you know, whatever is going to happen with AI is going to help productivity. You add in the embodied AI. You add in, I know you're very involved in the agency side of AI that's coming, which is kind of in between embodied and just LLMs. And the agencies, the agency side of it is going to be, I think, huge. So there's a bunch of stuff coming in this Roaring 20s that you're talking about that would be kind of like the Roaring 90s, you know, of the internet breakout in terms of just new productivity advances.
Yeah, I would say agents is a lot of companies have played and toyed with LLMs, but now everything's moving to agents, which leverage LLMs, but agents are doing a lot more, right? Agents, you know, will go and query SQL code. You can leverage �𝐤𝐚𝐽. There's lots of things you can do with agents to actually accomplish a full task. And companies are quickly moving that way and embedding that into their products.
Yeah. So it could be the 20s and the 90s combined in a way. And I think that's what Cathie Wood has been saying for a while now. And if for folks that gave me a hard time about having a very small position in Cathie Wood's 𝐸𝐞, like all I can say is this is the time for Cathie Wood. This is what she's been talking about. This is why she was on the cover of financial magazines in 2021. And I think she'll be on the cover of financial magazines again. Will that be 2025 or 2026? Don't know, but
We'll find out.
Her time is coming, I think. And again, for me, it's like, you know, go out to dinner money practically, but it is still I feel very confident that Kathy's moment to shine is coming again. Any last, well, let me look real quick. Let's just, look at we've talked a lot about the market today already, but basically we got the bonds going back up again. We're at 4.573 on the 10-year. I hate to see that. Oil up a little. Every indication to me would be oil should be heading down into the oil market way better than me. I'm thinking we go back to the 60s. We've got Argentina. The 58, 59 area. We got Argentina at 750,000 barrels a day, promising 1 million barrels a day, which is up from 250,000. I don't see how oil can hold on to these prices much longer.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, it seems like we're gonna have a lot more supply coming online. It all depends on growth, right?
Yeah, it does. It does depend on that as well as supply, as always. Gold did manage a $20 pickup today, but silver is off just a little bit. Copper's off just a little bit. There's not much, like you said, it's kind of that moment in time when it's really more about the last day of the year probably than anything else. And our big favorite, the Bitcoin is down 720 at 93,693. So
Yeah, I would also say, like, keep in mind. So today, let's just talk Tesla. Today, Tesla had about 33% lighter volume.
right,
When you have lighter volume, you can make more waves. You
right.
probably also have a lot of investors, funds, whatever, trying to take off their profits now to cap off the year before they go into next year. And potentially also a lot of people trying to remove the risk of what will be January 2nd with production delivery numbers.
Right.
If you're trying to de-risk, you might say, okay, look, we've made 60% since, or 90% or 69, whatever it is, since Trump got elected. Let's take those gains. Let's wait for delivery numbers to come out, make sure that's all good. Maybe we even wait till earnings. Who knows?
Sure.
Maybe we miss a 15, 20% move. But if we move like that, then there's going to be more to come. I don't care about missing the first 15, 20%. I would care more about losing half of the 69% I just locked in, right? Like, I think that's a very rational, logical way to think. Not saying that everybody should do that. Even people who know how to do that and to kind of finesse that and think through it probably shouldn't do it. But I'm just saying, like, there's rationale behind that. And then market makers are trying to decay options right now because we're going to be closed tomorrow. And then you have Thursday, Friday, and you have weekend. And the following week, we've got the 9th, and we'll also have markets closed on then. So market makers, one way or another, are going to get their options decay. The market makers aren't going to be the ones to lose on this. So, there's obviously a lot happening there from the option side as well. So yeah, there's just a lot going on. Low volume, like I said, profit taking, market makers doing their thing. Tomorrow's a day off. And then, just in general, it's that time of year, like you said, like there's just.
And isn't there a day off the following week as well? So you got a day off on the 9th.
Yeah, that's the 9th.
A day off on the, then on the 15th or whatever, the president.
Oh, is there?
Or,
oh, you're right. You're right.
It's the very next week. So you've got every week, you've got these short weeks. But the data has been limited for last week and this week, but next week we get tons of data also. So that's, and then we start getting earnings. With the bank earnings should be coming in about the time of the day off there. The bank earnings maybe that next day on the Friday.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we've covered it all. Let me know in the comments below, what are your resolutions? What are your concerns about next year? What are your predictions about next year? Have you got some goals that you're going to try to hit for next year? What did you think about I don't care what you think about my goals. What did you think about his goals for next year? Getting his refrigerator hooked up is probably way up.
Oh, I already did that.
Okay, all right.
It's hooked up.
That would
Listen,
that would be like
we're we got all the necessities. We
The
got a
necessity.
mattress on the floor.
There you
We got the
go.
refrigerator working. We got a microwave.
That's,
Got the desk set up.
that's pretty
We
much
got our
it.
closets going. So, we're slowly making it. On Saturday, we get the kitchen put in. 2 weeks later, that kitchen gets countertops.
Yeah.
Then the oven can go in and get out of the box, and dishwasher can actually be used. So we're slowly getting there.
I've been through a few of these in my life. I feel for you.
Nah, it's
It's not
honestly
that
it's
bad.
fun.
Not that bad.
At this
Okay.
point, it's fun.
All right. Okay, good. All right. So I did already ask you for a last thought. I don't know if I asked you for a last thought.
Just everybody be safe out there. All right, don't be stupid, but have fun. Be smart, and get ready for 2025. It's gonna be a good year. Oh, I guess one last thing for anyone who still happens to be listening.
Yeah.
Tomorrow I'll be doing my annual predictions video where we review my predictions from 2024, and then we'll make new predictions for 2025. They cover all kinds of things from politics to Tesla to investing to the markets. So I tend to make some pretty bold predictions,
Some
and
old predictions.
we'll see how I did for 2024.
I'll have to watch that one for sure. Okay, we got Brian White coming up later tonight, but I've already recorded that. So this will be my last program of my second year, and I thank all of you for chiming in, even when Nicholas is on. And especially when I thank you anyway for your just contributing your time, just for being willing to come in and check us out from time to time. The growth has been fantastic, and we're looking forward to more of that, of course, next year. So happy New Year to all of you and to you as well, Nicholas.
Likewise to you and your family, Randy.
And it's been great talking to you.